Ciao ragazzi, benvenuti a Roma. Welcome to Rome. Today is day, what is it, 10? And I'm tired. Woke up this morning after a busy weekend and yeah, I was just tired. So I haven't really done anything today. It was a rest day. Um, Not really sure what that's about. I think it's just tired. I might be coming down with something. Um, but very mild, obviously. Like it's not that big a deal. So I just went with it. Um, I hung out, relaxed, did my work, and now that the workday is done, I've got to make myself some dinner. And some of you have asked about um, uh, cooking, what I do for meals, generally speaking. And someone suggested I teach you guys how to make the pasta recipe that I'm always putting together. So I figured, why not? Today's a good day as any to do that. And since I didn't do anything else, so a couple of bits of information going in. Um, Generally, my recipe is quite varied. It really has to do with whatever is available. For example, bought this big pepper. Um, uh, it'll be for tomorrow, but peppers are in season. Uh, Zucchinis are in season, and I was hoping to get more asparagus, but they didn't have them at the market that I went to today. What I did do today was a bit of an experiment in the sense of normally I would go to the market, the big market, and it's strange how this it all works out. So in Avignon, when I stayed in France, it seemed like if I were to go to the central market, things were a little bit pricier. That's where the tourists go. So if you go to the smaller markets, you get better stuff. And it's cheaper. Interesting, which is counterintuitive to how I've noticed it in Italy, where if you go to the more the more local shops, they're kind of like convenience stores in the sense that it's a little pricier, it's a little closer, so it's a bit of a trade-off. But sometimes the stuff isn't as good. So I think that holds true in Rome as well. Um, the stuff that I got today is great. Don't get me wrong, but it was a little pricier. So next time I will go to the central market. But experiment, you live, you learn. Also, I'm going vegetarian today, not on purpose or anything. I just don't have anything. So I'll talk a little about what I would do if there was some kind of protein in it. But I've got salami and stuff for that on the side. So let's get started. If you're ever uh, anywhere where they make good olive oil, you got to get some locally. And when I was in Spain, I got great olive oil locally there. Bought some to take home that I'm saving. When I went to France, found some fantastic French olive oil. I also saved that, and I'm taking it home. And this is what I picked up. I think I mentioned it in other videos, in the market video. This is really good. Tanota, extra virgin olive oil. Now, so a couple years ago, I read, I'm going to say I read a book, but I really just kind of watched videos about something where they talk about enhancing flavor. And they say you want to include in everything you cook salt, fat, acid, and heat. And it's kind of changed how I've cooked. And of course, good, healthy fat, olive oil. And when you have the good stuff, you can smell the good stuff. Uh, it's really tasty. It goes well with what you're cooking. It's also nice and heart healthy. So that's the first thing I do, and I use a lot, like plenty, because the sauce that I'm going to make, there's no filler. There's no, like, in fact, it can be a little liquidy. So it's not going to be like store-bought sauce where it's like nice and thick or anything like that. But there's enough starches that will we'll be putting in, depending on what you decide to put in, to make up for it. You'll see what I mean. When we talk about salt, fat, acid, lemon is a great acid to put in there, but it is also a great enhancing flavor for tomato sauce. You don't need it, but I like stuff that's tart. Um, I like to make things nice and sour, but it will, like, you'll be surprised. Just a little bit will change how your sauce tastes. If you don't like lemon, or you find you don't like bitter or sour, a quarter lemon is probably fine. But I find that it really enhances the flavor. So, and I like lemon, so I'm gonna add to this. Okay, so there's a few stages. There's the preheating stage, there's the cooking the veggie stage, and then there's the simmering stage. So basically what you want to do is you want to throw together stuff that is going to be creating your base, right? And stuff that is a little resistant to getting burnt, or it's okay to burn. So this is actually when if I were to be putting like meatballs or sausage, I'd also be cooking that in the sauce now. If I was doing um, if I was doing seafood, shrimp, I would put once I get everything together and it's going to start to heat up. Clams you would put in once everything is settled and you're just kind of simmering everything. You throw the clams in, you wait that time. So because I don't have a protein tonight, I'm going to be putting in my onions and my garlic. Lots of garlic. I have a fat with the olive oil, but butter does enhance this thing. You just want a little bit, like probably not even this much, to be honest. You just want a bit to enhance the flavor with that, that fat taste without, you don't want to get it buttery. If you like butter, or you're not necessarily worried about being hard out, throw it in. Do what you need to do. It'll really enhance your sauce. So a little thing about cooking at Airbnbs. You are not going to be working with the best equipment. You kind of have to get used to that. What you should do before you start cooking is survey what you have available. I normally wouldn't use a little pot like this. I wouldn't use a huge pot like this to boil my noodles, or my pasta. But you got to do what you got to do. Um, I love when I find like a wooden spoon. Because I've been here 90 days, I went and bought a cheap chef's knife, because you will use knives at Airbnbs that are so dull, you're going to wind up hurting yourself in some cases. So it was worth the investment. I'm definitely going to be leaving this here because I can't imagine I can get on a plane with this. So, um, it was an investment, but it's done now. Now, interesting to me, anyway, is I went from Spain to France and now in Italy. And so, in Spain, I got the smoked paprika that they have there. It was really, really nice. Oh, the smell is fantastic. I'll throw some of that in there. You don't need it if you don't like it, but that's my heat. I have been cooking a lot with turmeric lately. I find that it like enhances the salty flavor, and it really makes everything really good. The only problem is I'm running around Europe leaving stained wooden spoons. Hopefully just the wooden spoon. This is what I got in France. It's salt, sea salt, coarse sea salt, but with herbe de Provence inside. So it's well mixed. I bought a big pack to be cooking while I'm traveling, but and I'm running out. But I also have a pack for home too. Now, if you want to cook things Italian style, you don't put the salt in the sauce. You put the salt in the water, right? You really want to salt in the water. So I'm going to save that. The other thing that I like to do is I like to really make things, to me, taste Mediterranean by adding in some olives. You don't have to add a lot. When I'm at home, I have some truffle sauce that I just put a little bit in. It's that same kind of flavor. I always like to add a little bit of tomato paste. I forget now who told me to do this, but this really enhances the tomato flavor. So we're gonna throw in tomatoes, live tomatoes, but this is like concentrated tomato taste. And you don't need a lot, not at all. So if you like to cook your garlic, you want to cook your onions, feel free. But during this stage, all I'm trying to do is just extract all the flavors into what I have in there right now, bring it all out, and make that bring out the flavors for the sauce. Yeah, so you can see this is perfect, right? Again, I'm not burning anything. I'm just bringing out the flavors, and now I'm going to add the next level. So it's this stage I'd put shrimp in, right? I put that, cook it a little bit, and then I would throw in my tomatoes. So tomatoes actually have acid. One of the reasons why tomatoes seem to enhance the flavor in almost everything is because it itself has a sweetness to it, it has acid in it, and it's a nice taste. And so what I'm going to be doing during this stage is just basically heating it up, getting it to the tomatoes will start to break down. There's going to be more liquid from the vegetables that I'm putting in. Right now it's nice and thick, right? It doesn't seem like there's a lot of liquid. The olive oil and the lemon has been absorbed into the onions and the tomatoes. So it seems like it's not much of a sauce, but it will be once I start cooking it. It'll turn to liquid, and then I will add a green vegetable. And by that could mean like green peppers. Today we've got zucchini. I like to put asparagus in. Asparagus, when you throw asparagus in, it will thicken the sauce. I mean, this is a quick meal. I could, in theory, have this all put together by the time and start to boil this water and be eating 15 minutes. So I'm now going to start boiling the water. And this is where you kind of want to put, like, it might seem ridiculous to put so much salt in the water, but you want to basically create salt water because as your pasta is getting cooked, as the pasta boils, it'll soak in all that salt. And it just creates a nice blended taste when the pasta is salty and the sauce isn't necessarily so salty. So it'll work out. Okay, so my water's boiling, so I'm ready to put the pasta in. I love how Italian pasta comes in these little nests. I think one of these is probably sufficient for a person, but I'm going to use two just in case. So I've got 6 minutes, probably more like 5. So I'm definitely going to put in my zucchini. And yeah, I mean, what's this been? This has been like 10 minutes, maybe a little longer, probably 10 minutes. So if you want chunky sauce, don't spend a lot of time at this stage. But if you want like a little bit more liquidy, like sauce that comes in a can kind of version, then let it break down a little bit more. Let your greens add the starch so it thickens up. But otherwise, you're pretty much, all I'm doing right now is heating up the zucchini, which zucchini, I mean, it doesn't really take that long. You're going to eat it right away. It's just chunky. So here we go. Our pasta is cooked. It's nice and al dente. It's nice and salty. It has a little bit of that French herb in there, which is really nice. Our sauce is liquid but thick. But it looks great. So you might ask, why come all the way to Italy if you're going to do all the cooking? Why not get an Italian chef to be doing this? There's two reasons. One, I can't go out to restaurants every day, especially not in Rome. It's kind of pricey. But more importantly, or more to the point, is uh, the ingredients here are fantastic. Fresh ingredients, um, a lot less processing, a lot less industrial practices. Like for example, this is like it's a company made pasta, but it's not like an industrial made pasta, right? If that makes sense. Um, it's funny because there's two types of Italians, right? One that will tell you go to the grocery store, buy whatever pasta, it's all good. And then there's the other type, and they're right. I mean, they're right. The other type is they will tell you get any type of pasta except for Barilla, because that's the industrial version of the Italian pasta. So that's like the big name. They will encourage you to buy from smaller companies. That second type of Italian would be more offended at you buying the industrial pasta than ordering a cappuccino after 11, ordering fettuccine alfredo, trying to get spaghetti and meatballs. All of that they would be okay. Cutting the pasta like spaghetti, um, they'd be okay with all of that, but just don't buy burrito. I don't, but it's fine. It's all good. The key is the fresh ingredients. It smells good, it tastes good, and it's just good. And before I eat it, I'll have you take a look at that. Bon appetit. Mm. Mm. Very good. So thanks very much. I have my dinner all ready. I hope that helped. I mean, it's a very simple sauce. It doesn't really take a lot of talent. It's more about the ingredients and about doing it and finding and good olive oil. Get some good olive oil. But that's basically it, right? It's more about the doing it than it is about like how. Does that make sense? Uh, it's the ingredient. So, pastry of the day. I went out when I went and got these ingredients. I got more of those uh, heart-shaped pasta, which are really good. This is my dessert, and I also got a nice loaf of bread as well. I hope that's been fun. Hope it hasn't been too long. There's going to be another video tomorrow. I'm sure I'm probably going to be out and about, a little bit more energy tomorrow. It'll be something to watch, I promise. One way or the other. But the only way to find out is make sure you subscribe. Um, I still love all your comments and your likes. Please keep those coming. I really appreciate you guys watching. Um, until tomorrow, arrivederci. Ciao. Good night, everyone.